Welcome. Today I have Pastor Jearlyn Dennie with me, pastor of Reverse Church, host of Today with Pastor Jay, and the immediate past chair of the Republican Executive Committee. Welcome, Pastor Jay. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate the opportunity.
You're very welcome. So you said before that you're the first Black woman to be the county chair of the Republican Executive Committee. So what does that mean to you?
Well, I didn't realize or know that I was the first. In fact, the first Black in the county to chair, whether Black or woman, and the first Black woman in the state of Florida. I didn't realize the significance of it because I don't think about being Black. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't, especially when I'm in predominantly white areas. As the Republican Executive Committee, as you know, less than 1% of Blacks are Republicans. So I didn't think about it, and it took a white person to tell me, hey.
Less than 1%.
Yeah, in Flagler and Volusia County, less than 1%.
Wow, did not know that. So what is at stake in the 2022 elections coming up, do you feel like?
Oh, school board. I think school board is important. As you know, our children are important to us, and parental rights are important to me, and it should be with every parent. So school board race in the upcoming 2022 election is very, very crucial. Everyone should look at the school board races and vote for conservative candidates.
Alrighty. So there's 14,000 more Republicans than Democrats in Flagler County registered. So does a Democratic candidate have a chance?
Absolutely.
Is that healthy in the community to have that big of a sway?
Absolutely. I want to say every candidate has a chance, especially if they're running on a good platform. And they communicate what they're going to do for the community. Just because someone registers Republican, Independent, or Democrat, it doesn't mean that that's how they're going to vote.
Do you feel like that's a lot of times how it works? I mean, a lot of times it seems like you see essentially the same kind of splits, like 60-40 Republicans. You see that number often up and down the ballot. Do you think that people just vote on the party line for the most part?
Some people do, but not everyone vote party lines. When you think of Flagler County, with us having more Republicans than we have Democrats, what I'm noticing now in the races that Democrats and Independents or MPAs, they're changing and saying that they're Republican just to get in the race for an opportunity to win, so that's what's happening. Don't like it.
Yeah, interesting. So it is Black History Month in February.
And I'm Black.
Yes, you are.
In case you didn't know that. Not African American, Black.
Right. Why do you prefer Black over African American?
Well, I could say brown, but in reality, I don't know anything about Africa. I'm not from Africa. I was born in America, so I'm a Black American.
So we're all, I'm always inspired by Martin Luther King's speeches, and I'm wondering who else inspires you from Black history?
Oh, well, someone that you don't know, and that would be my grandmother. My grandmother inspires me, and she has inspired me. She's a phenomenal woman. She's done so many things, and I think about all she has done for me to be where I am, for my mother to be where she is. She was a domestic engineer. She used to clean houses. And my grandmother would clean houses for the rich and famous. In fact, she worked for the owners of Saks Fifth Avenue and several department stores. And she would go and get jobs in places so we could have things that we normally couldn't have. So yeah, she got a job one time working for a lady cleaning her house that owned an ice cream shop. Because back in the day when my mother was young, she couldn't go into white-only ice cream shops. So my grandmother got a job cleaning the house just for that particular woman so my mother could go and have ice cream in that shop. And she'd go dress up, stand in front of the ice cream shop, and the lady go, "Dorothy, why are you out there? Come on in." And that's how my mother was able to have her first banana split. Wow. And my uncle have a root beer float. So she was a problem solver.
That's very cool. So if anybody is watching this who is white and maybe wishes they could do something to kind of help with racial harmony, what can that person do?
Wow. Well, I believe that it's important to get to know all people and not to judge someone by the color of their skin. So what can you do to kind of build that harmony is just listen. When you think about what happened to George Floyd, everyone was outraged by that. And for the white American, they looked at it and said that was horrible. But for Black Americans like me, we looked at it and we went, not again. So our perspective is unique to us based on our experiences and what we have gone through, and just understand and empathize with those experiences, even though you may not have experienced them.
So let's shift to families.
Families.
What can parents do to strengthen their families?
Oh, you remember back in the day, and I do this at home, I have 7 children, 6 grandchildren, is that kitchen table. You know, family dinners. You want to strengthen your family? Family dinners. I'm down to one at home now. She's a senior in high school, and she and I had dinner at the kitchen table. You know, so I always try to make a point to have family dinner and to listen to what she has to say and to her perspective.
Do people have fewer family dinners
They do.
than they used to? Why is that?
Because we work more. We work more often than what we used to. You know, my husband works often and the schedules are shifting, and not to mention after school things. She's in the band, she plays lacrosse. So it's hard to find those times. So I always make a point to have time with my family.
Mm-hmm. What about local politicians?
What about them?
What can they do to strengthen families in their community?
Local politicians, wow, to strengthen families. Well, that's a good idea. We should probably ask some of these local politicians. Number one, walk the walk, don't just talk it. I think that would help. And just to be family within your own family. I think if we had a local politician that was a family man or woman, and they showed that in the public eye, that it would be enough to kind of help strengthen us. But when we see broken families, politicians getting divorces, and then all the dirt in the background, I think they need to be true at home.
Mm-hmm. You have posed as a homeless person.
I have.
For hours at a time.
Yes.
What did you learn?
Well, it's not that I posed as a homeless person. I've actually been homeless. So oftentimes people go, oh, she's pretending to be homeless. I've been homeless. So it's not about what I learned. I do it to raise awareness for other people to realize that the face of homeless isn't what you think it is. It's the person that's in the grocery store that's waiting on you. The face of homeless. We've had a manager of one of our department stores that I've actually helped go from being homeless to in a home. So the homelessness isn't the ragged person that you think it is. So what I've learned, just pretending when I wasn't homeless, is that oftentimes people unfortunately don't take time out to find out a person's situation. You know, homelessness, most homelessness is situational. Loss of job, there's a problem with health or issues like that. It's not really a huge chronic homeless problem here in Flagler County.
Mm-hmm. What's the next sermon you're working on?
Oh, goodness. You know, moving forward. We really need to move forward. It's February, and I always talk about how important it is for us to move forward, and then no matter what we do. So my sermons always go around what I'm learning that week, and then the Lord will just download it. So Saturday nights for me...
The Lord will download it.
Yeah, the Lord downloads it. So Saturday, I think about my week experiences. Every time I've done a sermon in advance, Saturday night, it never fails. He'll change it up. So... right now, we're working on what the Lord's going to download to me. Occasionally, I try to get lazy and I'll do series, but it just never works for me. I always like a fresh new word from the Lord.
So, do you read the Bible every day?
I do.
Why do you do that?
Because it helps me. It gives me strength. It reminds me of who He is, especially when you're having a bad day. So you don't have to take a lot of time. I encourage people to do that. And I also pray every day, too, because I pray with people all over the world. I don't know if you know that. I have a prayer line on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 6:30 a.m. So I pray with people all over the world. But it teaches a discipline. It reinforces what you know. It reinforces my faith, and it allows me to connect with my Father, and so I can hear from Him. So I don't just read it. I just sit and listen and hear what He has to say.
You said it reminds you who God is.
Yes, it reminds me. His Word is living and it's alive. So it's important.
Very good. So as you're involved in so many things,
Yes.
people come to you for help.
They do.
Particularly as a pastor maybe, but in other areas. So what principles guide you to know how to respond to them as someone comes to help?
Well, I always
For help.
resort to treat others as I would like to be treated. So even though I may not be in their situation, what if I was? So I always start with that, and always to love. Love people no matter what they look like, no matter if their differences are something you may not even enjoy or appreciate, you still should love people. So I always try to connect with people from that stand of love and not, and think about what if it was me? Because oftentimes it was. I'm a living witness. I mean, I'm tore up from the floor up. If it was not for Jesus Christ, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm absolutely in witness protection. Seriously. I am. I got a new name, a new identity. God sent angels around me to encamp around me like Secret Service agents, because Satan has a hit out on me. I'm telling you, I am absolutely a living witness. God is good. He's worthy to be praised. And I'm an example of his grace, his mercy, and his love.
So you're literally in the witness protection program.
For Jesus Christ. I am. You like that, right?
Very good. Well,
yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully the people who are looking for you can't find you if they mean you any harm. Thanks a lot for joining us on Observations.